Rice is still grown with traditional methods, which requires flooding the fields. And when you flood the fields, you basically kill the weeds with water, which sounds good, except it takes huge amounts of water. They basically decompose underwater, and when they do that, they release methane. And so actually rice production is one of the largest producers of methane, which is, many times more toxic in terms of greenhouse gas emissions.
Davos gets to the heart of the issue.
The fossil fuel polluters use a portion of their wealth from digging up dead things from the earth and burning them in ways that destroy the future of humanity. They use some of their wealth to confuse people. I get a little exercised about this because I've watched it for a long time, and it's driven by pure greed. Pure greed. If we deploy electric vehicles, solar, wind, batteries, green hydrogen, and the rest, and we get to true net zero, temperatures on the earth will stop going up almost immediately.
Gore's worth $200 million, and his greed is infinite because he's making money to save the world. The men who make money building the world, they're greedy. They should go bankrupt and be arrested for climate crimes. How'd Gore get to Davos, by the way? He didn't bicycle. It's time to plan the future, your future.
That order seems to not be the order anymore. We are on the way to a new order, so we are between orders.
A new world order. So what will that look like? But the point is, you have nothing to be worried about. Well, unless you like to eat.
In most of Asia, rice is still grown with traditional methods, which requires flooding the fields. And when you flood the fields, you basically kill the weeds with water, which sounds good, except it takes huge amounts of water. They basically decompose underwater, and when they do that, they release methane. And so actually rice production is one of the largest producers of methane, which is, many times more toxic in terms of greenhouse gas emissions.
Rice is like the top crop in the world. What are they going to replace it with? Lab rice. Yum. And if that doesn't work, we're still not at net zero, you get slapped with a carbon footprint tax.
I would say digital and sustainable need to go hand in hand. And what do I mean? Yeah, there are initiatives like we are driving as industries, Catena X, where we are trying to measure the footprint throughout the value chain. And what would that give us? Yeah, I would have a bottle like this, and I could tell you from the iron ore to the logistics to the glass, what is the carbon footprint of this bottle? And then I could price it. And I could tell you now you are doing good because you now pay 20 cents more, but you are very conscious that you have a green product, yeah?
I have a hunch their products like jets, escorts, and shrooms will be exempt from the carbon footprint tax. So forget about cheap gas, rice, and protein. You're not entitled to that. You're also not entitled to an opinion.
Disinformation is a security threat. And maybe not many noticed, but it was part of the Russian military doctrine that they will start information war. And we are in it now. And disinformation is a very powerful tool. We are focusing on improving of the system where the people will get the facts right. We don't speak about opinions. We are not correcting anyone's opinions or language. Yeah, this is about the facts.
Oh, the old CIA Jedi mind trick. Label everything that gets in your way, like Trump or the truth, as Russia disinformation, which is a national security threat, and so therefore must be destroyed by the all-encompassing power of the national security state. Question the election or the effectiveness of electric cars? Now you're a national security threat. You know what just would make everything much easier? If we just stop resisting and submit to mind control.
Bringing the kinds of sensors that people have become accustomed to, such as rings and in watches, into everyday devices, but it breaches the final frontier of privacy, that is, what people are thinking and feeling. Initially, what they will be capable of doing is very high-level brain state reading. Things like, are you tired? Are you paying attention? Is your mind wandering? Are you happy or sad? They maybe enable interaction like up, down, left, right.
So slap some sensors on your forehead and let Davos read your thoughts.
いやー、こんなひどい。
It's frustrating?
Very frustrating.
Tell me about that.
I want Elon Musk to do something about this. Probably help us out.
So electric vehicles may be the wave of the future, but a whole lot of owners are having trouble dealing with Chicago's bitter cold temperatures. Public charging stations have turned car graveyards over the past couple days.
Dane Placco reports on the frustration and some tips from an auto expert.
Nothing, no juice. It's still on 0%. And this is like 3 hours this morning being out here after being out here 8 hours yesterday.
Tyree Beard was among the dozens of Tesla owners trying desperately to power up their cars at this Tesla supercharging station in Oak Brook. A scene mirrored with long lines and abandoned cars at scores of other charging stations around the Chicago area.
Man, this is crazy. It's a disaster. Seriously.
Oh, we got a bunch of dead robots out here.
Dead robots. This is your car?
Yeah.
But it was no laughing matter to people like Kevin Sumrack, who landed at O'Hare last night to find his Tesla dead, forcing him to hire a flatbed tow truck to try to find a working charging station.
So I can get back to Indiana.
But you can't find one that's charging or working?
Either working or doesn't have cars sitting, still plugged in.
You've been here since when?
5 p.m. yesterday.
So 20 hours or so.
Yeah, about.
Tesla did not respond to any of our emails or calls, but an automobile expert we talked to says there are some things that EV owners can do when it gets this brutally cold.
It's moving anyway.
It's moving.
Like any new technology, Dane, there's a learning curve.
Mark Bielik of the Chicago Auto Trade Association says all EVs can have problems dealing with extreme cold and says it's important for drivers to hit their preconditioning button before they charge their battery.
We have had extraordinary cold, but is this acceptable?
No, not at all. I mean, pay a premium price for these Teslas.
What a disaster that was.
No kidding.
Oh, my goodness. And then it's so cold to have to abandon your car. You
Yeah,
know?
especially, I mean, make sure you're prepared out there. My husband caught me just like last week. He says, you gotta have a coat in your car.
And a blanket. And
Yes, just in case, because you never really know, right?
Right?
All right, so temperatures out there today were very, very cold. We're dealing with the coldest air mass that we've been seeing in the last 5 years.
Wow.
On electric vehicles, there's been, with the extreme weather, there's been some difficulty in getting those battery charged. Do you have any thoughts on that? As you know, the administration has been really pushing for EVs to be the future of car transportation. Do you have any thoughts on the troubles with charging those batteries?
Well, as a car owner, I can promise you that whether you have a gas-powered vehicle, a hybrid-powered vehicle, and a fully electric vehicle, extreme weather temperatures impact the functioning of your car, right? So that is not unique to electric vehicles.
こんな適当でいいの？グローバリストの祭典であるダボス会議で米を作ることさえ環境に悪いと言い出してる。日本の米が食べられなくなる時代が来るかもしれない。手遅れになる前に今我々が受け継いできた稀有なる道、日本人の誇り魂をしっかりもう一回思い出して自信と誇りを持って立ち上がり勇気を持って声を上げこの稀有なる国を次の世代に残していくために胸を張って手を取り合って上を見上げて誇りを持って共々に歩んでいこうではありませんか。